What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range on a nice sunny day. I've been doing some interesting jelly testing out here, and for this one right here, we're gonna check out and see if ammo that's packaged as law enforcement is any better or different than ammo that's in just standard basic packaging. As you can see, the jelly contraption is ready for duty. I got the chrono set up. I got 2 blocks of gel. Now we got a couple tracks in this far block. I'll leave some links if y'all hadn't seen those tests. It was pretty interesting, but for this close-up block, we're completely clear, so we got plenty of room to check this one out. Now, what we're checking out today is a couple different types of 45 ACP Federal HST. So what we got here is we got the HST packaged as the law enforcement tactical ammo, 230 grain HST law enforcement tactical. And then the other one we got is just a standard Federal Premium 45 ACP HST, but now it's the Plus P. I went with the Plus P because, to be honest with you, I didn't have any standard velocity. So I had several boxes of this Plus P. So I figured if we're going to test it out against this supposedly stronger law enforcement ammo, we might as well give it every chance we can. Now, I personally don't think there's much difference in between these two, but I have seen people comment that there is a difference, and I could be wrong about it. They look exactly the same. The cases are the same. The projectiles are the same. The only difference I can see is, believe it or not, these primers are not sealed on the law enforcement ones, and on the standard ones they are. So all the primers on these are sealed, and in the Leo box, none of them are sealed, which honestly I would have probably expected the opposite. But anyway, what we're going to test these things out of is a 3.5-inch 1911. A lot of y'all's been asking me to test some 45 out of a shorter barrel, so I'm going with this Colt 3.5-inch barrel compact 1911. But this ought to be a pretty good one. Like I said, I personally don't think there's a difference between these rounds as far as the standard packaging and the law enforcement, but I could be wrong. So let's get this stuff set up and let's check them out. All right, y'all, let's get us some speeds on these things. We're going to do a 3-round average on each one of them. I'm going to start out with the law enforcement tactical labeled rounds first and see what they're moving. I'm going to be honest with you. I personally believe that those HST Plus Ps are going to be stronger than these law enforcement ones, but let's see what we get, y'all. We got 793, 792, and 800, so some low speeds on them, but they're definitely consistent. Let's check that average out. All right, so the 3-round average on the law enforcement tactical labeled HST is 795 feet per second. So let me get this reset and let's check out those Plus Ps. All right, y'all, let's check out these Plus Ps. Like I say, I got a feeling these right here is gonna have some more juice behind them. All right, we got 766, so not more speed, but it does have a louder report, I can tell you that for sure. 831. And 822, so actually right about the same. Let's go check that average out. All right, so even with that slower first shot, for whatever reason, the 3-round average on these Plus P HSTs is 806 feet per second. And if you remember on the law enforcement labeled ones, it was 795, so you're talking about 11 feet per second faster from the Plus P, even with that slower round. So the Plus Ps are, I would say, are definitely a little bit hotter than these law enforcement labeled ones. But let's get this reset, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Does Leo Get the Good Stuff jelly time. I'm gonna put 1 round of each down into the gel. We're gonna start out with the law enforcement labeled rounds first and see what we get, y'all. I was trying to be too stingy with that gel. I think we might have came out. Let me go down there and check that out. All right, y'all, that actually hit exactly where I was aiming. The only problem is it did a little curve move down there midway right at the second block, so it came out. But I actually do have the projectile. It just barely plopped out the gel down there. I would leave that like it is and go with that, but by looking at that projectile, I feel like it might have a little more expansion to give us, so I'm gonna take another shot down there. So I'm gonna try one more of these law enforcements. I'm gonna try to put this one over towards the left, a little bit above it maybe. Let's see what we get there. All right, that was exactly to the left of it. Let me make sure that one stayed in. All right, y'all, we managed to capture that one down there, no problem. And honestly, the one that plopped out the side, that's probably about all the expansion it had. You'll see down here in just a minute, but it looks nearly identical to the one that is in the gel. But anyway, let's try one of these Plus Ps and see what we get out of them. I'm gonna try just to go below those two that's already in there. All right, I think I went right up under that other one. Let's go down there and check these out and see what we got. All right, y'all, let's check out what we got here. So this very bottom one, that was the Plus P HST in the regular packaging. On the right up above it, that's the law enforcement packaging. And then right behind it is the first one. So those are pretty much lined up exactly, but I'll take you from above here so you can see that by itself. But anyway, as far as the law enforcement, it come in HST. Again, what can you say? It comes in, makes a fantastic wound channel, expands almost immediately from what I can tell, carries into the second block here, and it looks like it's about 2 to 3 inches into that second block. Expanded pretty nicely. Now, it didn't expand as much as I've seen some calibers of HST expand, but being a slower speed and such a heavy projectile, it's easy to understand why. Now, the Plus P standard packaging up underneath that one, a little bit of different story here. Came in a fantastic wound channel again, opened up almost immediately. A lot less penetration out of this one because I can already tell there's a whole lot more expansion from this Plus P HST. So there's no doubt that the Plus P is definitely a spicier round than that law enforcement tactical branded one. Now, as far as penetration, the law enforcement labeled one is all the way out here at 19 inches. The first one that went out the side exited at 17 inches. And then your Plus P normal packaging HST is at exactly 12 inches. So just a quick look from above here. This one right here is the good law enforcement. That's the law enforcement that went out the side. So as you can see, the difference between the law enforcement and HST wound channel, they look very, very similar. Both of them really nice disruption, very, very nice expansion on that HST Plus P. And then the law enforcement label one carries into the second block, and you can see what I mean. Not quite as much expansion on that one. All right, y'all, let's take a look at these projectiles here. So obviously a big, big difference in expansion off these. I think you can already tell which is which. This right here is the standard labeled HST Plus P, and this is the law enforcement labeled round. So like I said, big, big difference in expansion. You can just tell from the side there, you can tell from the top, all angles, just a lot more expansion on that. You know, that little bit of extra speed, I guess, is just what it needed just to push it over the edge. Now, the one that did go out of the Leo was actually, it looks almost identical to the one that stayed in. So I thought maybe because it wasn't expanded as much that it had a little more left before it popped out, but evidently it was at the end of its travel anyway. But let's check out some numbers on these things. I don't think they lost any material, but let's find out here. So this one here, the Leo labeled, is 229.8, so no loss there. They started at 230, obviously. That Plus P, 229.9, so exactly the same as what they started. No lost material on either one of those. Now on the expansion side of things, we got a definite difference here. So this is the Leo labeled one. We got 688, 672, and 682. So nice expansion on that one. And then for this Plus P, we got 855, 845, and 851. So some massive, massive expansion on that Plus P. So there you have it, y'all. The law enforcement tactical labeled HST and the regular Plus P standard label HST. Definitely some difference in performance here. The extra speed on this Plus P got it to open up more like it should have. Now the law enforcement round still, in my opinion, was plenty adequate expansion. Either one of these rounds would definitely get the job at hand done, but there is some differences in between them. Now, that being said, is the law enforcement better than the regular HST? I don't think it is, and I think the difference we saw here was just because this was Plus P. I think if this would have been a standard HST 45 ACP, we would have probably saw very similar results to this law enforcement round. All right, y'all, we're calling it right there for another interesting 45 ACP test. Like I said at the beginning, I personally don't believe there's a difference in these law enforcement branded rounds and the standard packaged rounds. I think the difference that we saw here on these today was because the standard ones were plus P. And like I said, the only reason I chose plus P to use is because I didn't have the standard pressure rounds. But you can just kind of take from what we got here, you know, the difference between the plus P and regular is going to be about what we saw here between these law enforcement and the plus P. Unless somebody knows different than I do about these law enforcement rounds and how they're different than the standard ones, let me know down in the comments if you do. I'd be interested to hear it. But if y'all did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell notification icon so you can get notified when I upload new videos. Y'all check out my affiliate links down below in the video description. If you shop through Amazon anyway, hit that link up down there. You go straight through Amazon like normal from there, and anything you buy anywhere on the site after that, I get a kickback from them towards the channel. As always, if you're needing some really nice ear pro, check out those actual affiliate links down below. You can save a pile of money hitting those links up instead of going straight through their site. I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there that supports the channel by watching my videos, hitting that thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think about these two different HST rounds. I've got a pile of good stuff coming y'all's way, so make sure you stay on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see y'all soon.